Hello, gamers. Welcome to the Kind of Funny Gamescast for September 25th, 2025. I am Andy Cortez, and I'm joined by the Kind of Funny 3.
That's us.
I did my best.
I like it, though. I liked it.
Yeah, it was soft-spoken, underspoken. I like that.
You did like Kind of Funny 6 minus 3. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that could have. Yeah.
Maybe we'll restart the show, Barrett, if you can.
Restart.
I'm joined by Blessing. Can you do it again? Actually, I missed it. Hello, gamers. Welcome to the Kind of Funny Gamescast for September 25th,
Only
2025.
this company would be like, we're doing a big review. We should do the intro 3 times
I am Andy
to
Cortez,
alienate
and
all the new viewers.
I am joined by Blessing Addy Yōtei Jr.
Part of the Kind of Funny 6.
Yeah.
Minus 3.
Minus 3.
Roger Picorni.
Cracking a Sapporo.
Oh, the
Wow.
official
Man.
Sapporo?
Yeah, the official Ghost of Yotei Sapporo. Not sponsored, but please sponsor us.
Cool.
Yeah, if we get sponsored by Sapporo,
That'd
can
be
you
amazing.
imagine? Good Lord.
Whoa,
I'd be
whoa.
all about that.
Oh, okay.
He's doing it again. And last but not least, Greg Miller.
Hi, Andy. It does me well to see you.
Oh,
Oh.
thank you. Man, the
Thanks,
facial
dude.
hair does look good.
I'm telling you, like, you know what I mean? Hey, everybody, it's me, Greg, with the Wolverine facial hair, but the normal Greg, everything else. If you are a Kind of Funny member, I highly recommend Greg Way every day. But today's a funny one because I hit it and I go, oh, right, I look like this. Like, I flipped the camera and hit record, like, oh, shit.
Forgot about
This
that.
is my face now. I forgot about that, yeah.
I'm happy to see you guys, and I'm more excited to hear about Ghost of Yotei today. Remember, the code is provided by PlayStation.
There
but
it
first, let's get into some housekeeping, everybody. This is the Kind of Funny Gamescast. Each and every weekday, we get together to talk about the biggest reviews, previews, and topics in video games live on YouTube, Twitch, and podcast services around the globe. If you love what we do, support us with the Kind of Funny membership on Patreon, YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts to get all of our shows ad-free, watch us record them live, and get a daily exclusive show. For a chance to be part of the show, submit your thoughts and opinions as YouTube Super Chats as we go. Get all of them Super Chats in. Ask us about, you know, whether we thought this was better than Part 1 or not, whether we thought this was better than Rise of the Ronin.
Oh,
Probably not for Greg.
Wow.
We know
I
how much
fucking hate you guys.
We know
God
how much
damn
you love
it.
that game.
God forbid I find fun in a 7 and say that I'm having fun with this game.
We're all depressed, and Greg's the only one not. He's finding fun in everything.
Listen, you're all going to play a lot of Ghost of Yotei, all right? So, and we're not spoiling anything here. But when you're playing that game, ask yourself, would a wingsuit make it better?
Oh, man. I'll tell you right now, yes.
Early on in that game, when you don't when you don't know what you're going to be upgrading or getting, there was a few times where I was on a mountaintop like, damn, Rise of Ronin had something. With that
Yeah, I was
fucking
like,
thing.
man, if I had a
I've got it
glider
here.
right
I got
now.
the shrine now. I gotta fucking go down here and do this.
We're an 11-person business, all about live talk shows. Kind of Funny Games Daily was all about Forza Horizon 6.
Yeah.
After this, I'm playing Hades 2 with Mike. And then Greg is playing Skate with Mike.
That's right.
Wow.
I love skate. You want to come skate with us?
No, I'm going somewhere. I'm going to MagicCon, Atlanta.
Oh, I didn't realize you were like leaving. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm
Like,
leaving at
early. You know.
So I'm leaving at like 1 a.m. Yeah, you
Okay.
can come through.
Oh, thanks, man.
Wait, you're leaving at 1 a.m.
Sorry, 1 p.m.
1
p.m.
I gotta go home.
There's a lot of packing I got to do. Today's Greg Way is 18 minutes of Greg's public speaking 101 and a second Greg Way. That's unboxing the Ghost of Yotei PS5.
Finally happening.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sorry, I was in your seat during the meeting yesterday, Bless.
Yeah, that's fine. That's okay.
Threw it in the ground.
I got to like hang out with the box. Stare at the
Smell
Ghost of Yotei
it.
box, you know.
And remember, everybody watching live right now, just as a reminder, get them Super Chats in. And also, if you have Amazon Prime, you have Twitch Prime. Really offended that Roger thought harmonizing was just singing the same note.
It is.
But in a different octave.
no, it's the
Or
same.
just the same note.
Yeah.
This is the you have Twitch Prime.
Yeah.
You have Twitch Prime.
You're trying to follow me. You don't. I'm trying to harmonize.
No, that's
with you.
harmonized. It's
You don't
harmony.
know, you
Living
don't
in
get it.
harmony is
You don't
together.
get it.
That's not
It's
it.
just
That's not it.
copying.
And then Mike goes, man, yeah, I was wondering why Andy does that. I was like, damn, does he not know what harmonizing is? I was like, no,
Doesn't.
you don't know. You don't know. Thank you to our
Andy
Patreon
doesn't.
producers, Carl Jacobs, Omega Buster, and Delaney, the Psalm Twining. Today we're brought to you by Shady Rays and Factor, but we'll tell you all about that later. For now, let's start with the topic of the show. Another reminder, code is provided by PlayStation.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Ed.
PlayStation, for sending us early codes for Ghost of Yotei. Let me just do a quick little synopsis, if y'all
I
don't
like
mind.
that. I love a good synop.
Ghost of Yotei centers around the theme of the underdog vengeance. The story set in the environment of Mount Yotei in Ezo, modern-day Hokkaido, Japan, in 1603, 320 years after the events of Ghost of Tsushima. The main character, Atsu, voiced by Erika Ishii, is a wandering mercenary who adopts the persona of the Onryo, a spirit of vengeance in Japanese folklore. Right now, I'll tell you what, gamers, it's doing pretty well in them ratings right now. Ghost of Yotei is an 87 on Metacritic and an 89 on OpenCritic, with 96% of critics recommending it. Have a couple of little write-ups from, different outlets here and there. We have a 10 out of 10 from Dalton Cooper at Game Rant. And a quick little synopsis for the review there. It says, revenge is always personal, and Ghost of Yotei knows this all too well. You play as a woman who seeks to defeat all the criminals who ruined her life. This straightforward narrative hides secrets that are revealed in addictive gameplay set in one of the most beautiful and diverse maps of this generation. Atsu has an impactful, powerful journey that has everything it takes to earn her place as the legend of Ezo that Sucker Punch has created. We have an 8 out of 10 from the homie Michael Hyam at IGN, who says, a predictable but well-executed story takes you through Ghost of Yotei's gorgeous landscapes and satisfying fluid action. It may not be revolutionizing open-world games, but it's a great distillation of samurai fantasy. We have a 3 out of 5 from Chris Tapsell at Eurogamer, who says, 3 out of 5 stars, by the way, who says the stars matter.
The stars
You have
do
to,
matter.
you have to know what they are.
It's on a curve. Sucker Punch's sequel offers more great swordplay and heartfelt storytelling, but would be better served as a linear action game. And then finally, we have right up here, it says, Atsu has an impactful, powerful journey that has everything it takes to earn her place as the legend of Ezo that Sucker Punch has created. That's an 8 out of 5 from João Paes from
8 out of 10?
IGN Brazil.
That's a good
A
reference.
little Smiling Friends reference. That's the only
Coming
reason.
back soon?
Oh, my.
Very soon, yeah.
Very,
Exciting.
very
I can't
exciting
wait.
about that. All right, gamers. You all have played Ghost of Yotei to varying degrees, or has everybody here beaten the game?
I've beaten it.
I have beaten it.
I've beaten it.
Oh,
Whoa, 3 out of 3 here on the desk. I'm excited to get into this. I know that Blessing was the first one to beat the game. So, Bless, give me a quick little top-level thoughts and a review score that you would give it on the Kind of Funny side.
And how long did you play?
I played for 30 hours. I beat it at around the 30-hour mark. Once I beat it, I very much put it down. Not because I was like, ugh, I'm done with this thing. I'm going on to other things. Mainly because I'm like, all right, I beat this thing. Let me play this other thing. Let me play Hades 2 now, and I'm going to come back to it, which I played a little bit more this morning because there's some post-game stuff where I was like, okay, I want to get around to this just so I know the context of it as we're going into this review so we can talk about this stuff. Not that we're going to talk about post-game, but I just want to be fully
Right, no
informed here.
spoilers.
No spoilers.
No
spoilers
spoilers.
here. I think my quick review of Ghost of Yotei would be to say that you already know what Ghost of Yotei is, right? Like, you've played Ghost of Yotei, you know what you're in for Ghost of Yotei. I think it is an 8 out of 10 video game. That would be my score. I think it is great. I had a great time playing this game. The things that I love and adored about it would be the story. I think it's a step up this time around as far as the story they're telling here with Yotei versus what they did with Tsushima. I'm more invested in Atsu's tale and Atsu's the cast of characters that are around Atsu and her tale of revenge. It's fun, thinking about this story and talking about it and processing it, because a lot of times during my playthrough, I couldn't help but to think about a little game called Last of Us Part 2.
I've heard of this game.
Yeah, another game that has to do with a tale of revenge, and you are going after somebody who've wronged you, right? And I think both these games have things in common as far as how they get you in that series of events and how they allow you to process the ideas of revenge and grief and all these things. And I really, really liked how Ghost of Yotei had its own take on it, and how Ghost of Yotei really allowed the, original events, right, that leads to that process of revenge, how that comes around and loops back around and gets expanded and doesn't feel as, defeating as Last of Us Part 2 feels at some points, right? But you still understand Atsu, you still understand why she has this revenge, and they still get across oh damn, yeah, no, it's on site for the Yotei 6. Once you see the Yotei 6, it's we gotta kill these motherfuckers, right? I think they do a really good job of setting that stuff off. And as the tale grows, as it continues, I think the twists are great. I think a lot of the great story moments here resonated with me, and I really, really like the story this time around. Combat continues to be great. It's more of what you love and know from Ghost of Tsushima. You have, instead of stances, you have different types of weapons. Very similar combat system, except you have a lot of new tools this time around, and I think that continued to be fun as well. And then you have the overall vibe and the overall aesthetic and tone of Ghost of Yotei, which continues to deliver based off of what Ghost of Tsushima did. It is beautiful. I really like what they do in the open world is riding around your horse and you get the letterbox aspect ratio that really ups the cinematic vibe of the game. It's just a beautiful world to exist in. I think when I move into what I didn't love as much, and I think this is going to veer into preference of what you want out of an open world game and also what we talk about when you're talking about sequels and stuff, right? I felt like this game was very cookie cutter in terms of what it's doing with structure. And I think that's going to work for a lot of people. I could see for various people, maybe this not working as well for me, I look at this open world and for what the promise was when we talk about the cards and we talk about you have the Yotei 6 and, you know, as Atsu, you have your choice of, all right, going after this guy or going after this guy and really trying to figure out the clues and the things to get you toward those 6 objectives. It really isn't that, right? Like as you play the game, it's like, oh no, this is just a very much like a checklist, regular open world game that you've played before. The card thing, I don't think really is all that special. I think it's a neat way to contextualize like a quest log. But beyond that, like, all right, cool. This game is not as, I guess, open as I thought it was going to be structurally. Like you have some choice there, but it's not. It didn't blow me away by that standard. I also think the game can feel a little bit repetitive and one note at points as far as, how good the game is at its combat. But then when we get outside of the combat, how uninterested I was in a lot of stuff I'm doing around the edges. This game does a lot to try and get you into the samurai or Ronin fantasy of being Atsu, being the ghost. But then like I'm doing things like I'm starting a fire or I'm doing bamboo strike or I'm doing XYZ thing where I'm like, I don't want to be doing this shit. Just get me to the next thing, right? There's a lot more to talk about, but yeah, overall, I had a great time. I think it's a great video game. 8 out of 10.
Roger, how long did you play? Quick top level thoughts, and what would you give it on the kind of funny score or scale rather?
Yeah, I finished the story at around 24 hours, which is way faster than I thought I was gonna. I was about 20 hours and I was about like halfway through and I was like, oh man, I got a lot more game left. And then I just kind of mainlined it and then just accidentally finished it. And then I put in another 10 hours or so afterwards. So I'm continuously playing it right now. Ghost of Yotei does what some of the best sequels of all time do. It refines, it expands, and it remixes Tsushima. It's one of the prettiest games I've ever played. It feels great to play, and that story is so fun. But what makes this game so special in my mind is the pacing. It's not just in the main story, but it's in the open world. The way that the open world feels alive and it comes to you. And even when I'm doing side stuff, it feels almost as important as Atsu's main journey at a lot of points. It feels handcrafted, the flow, and it's kind of mind-blowing the way that I would just get lost and then the game would keep on as soon as I had that little inkling of, oh, maybe this is getting a little repetitive, boom, something different happens. Even in the middle of a random side quest that really should be cookie cutter in comparison to what they did in Tsushima. This game elevates every single thing that Tsushima did and talk about the different flavors of gamers. And this completely worked for me in a way that I did not expect. I really enjoyed Tsushima for what it was. I played about half of it, put about like 40 hours into it because that's how much I was just in the open world loving it. But I kind of just burnt out really fast because I was like, man, I don't really want to finish this because I'm not really interested in the story, but the story pushed me forward. The gameplay pushed me forward. The open world is just so dense with high quality quest lines and the bounties, in the random side quests that you do when you're finding people, the little mysteries that are in there. It is so high quality, and this team is so small in a relative scale of AAA that it is mind-blowing. I will give this game a 9.5 out of 10. This is a really amazing video game, and I did not expect it whatsoever.
Hell yeah. Greg Miller.
Hi, Andy.
What are your thoughts on Ghost of Yotei?
So I'm 40 hours into Ghost of Yotei. I beat it probably at 35, somewhere in there. And I still feel like I rushed it. You know what I mean? Because it's that, I think Ghost of Yotei is incredibly special, and I think it has improved on all the things we complained about with Ghost of Tsushima. I went back and watched or listened to our Gamescast review from 2020 when we did it, and it's hilarious to hear us complain about there's no loadouts, and then there's the loadouts here. Complain about this, and then there's here. The way they've gone through and done that, and then put this layer on top of what is this is, again, I agree with Bless. You know what this game is. I think you get the idea. You understand this is going to be an open world game that's a sequel to another open world game. I do lean with Roger, though, that they've gone through and done so much set dressing to change this up and make it feel like it matters and make it feel like it's personal and do these different things to get you to somewhere incredibly special. I think, my advice for people who would be playing it would be to do everything. I think that's what, again, I feel like I shortchange the game in some ways going through and just beating it, because as you continue to play this, the whole point is you are filling out these skill trees and learning these techniques that make all of your weapons this much better, this much more special on this journey to take down the Yotei 6, which clearly, as you talk to all of us who beat it not at 80 hours or whatever you can do whenever you want to. You can go through and linear golden path this and not have a big problem with it probably. But you're doing yourself a disservice and you're shortchanging yourself on an incredibly special experience. And I think that's what's so interesting about it in my head is that I sit here and I'm with Bless of like the fact that Sucker Punch is still committed to, well, PlayStation's got this touchpad. I got to be using it for some gimmicks.
God.
And it's like, this
don't get me started.
Sucker Punch, when you did this in infamous Second Son, it's because you were a launch game. And we made you, I'm shaking up my paint can to spray. Yeah. To be doing that kind of stuff now in 2025, I'm like, guys. And like, you can go to the menu and you can not turn it off, but make it go away quicker. You still have to sit through a few and hold skip to get through it. And sometimes they'll talk to you while you're supposed to be lighting the fire, which is like you're doing this with your touchpad or whatever. It's like, come on. But like, there's that. There is the fact that, like, again, it is open world. So repetitive is such a knock to throw around. But we are doing the same gameplay loop. We are looping the same thing. So in the general defined sense, it is repetitive on what you're doing. There's enough here where when I was sitting there talking about what I want to score this and how do I want to kick off this review, I was like, I could see myself 8-5ing this, but then I come back to the adjectives on screen here, where really I think I have to go and give this a 9 out of 10 and say that this is an amazing game. And I think it's amazing in the way that I beat it and I was like, cool, now I can move on to Skate, which I haven't actually given my time to. And I'm playing Skate and I'm having fun. And like, last night I just got to binge Skate for like 3 hours. And then I was like, okay, cool. I need to get my photo mode together because I want to put up my photo mode, right? And I was spread across 3 different PlayStations. By my math, before I edited down my camera rolls, I had like 125 things. And so I'm going through and editing this and like, it was like 11:15 and I had the photos the way I wanted. I'm like, I got to play a little bit of Ghost of Yotei, though, and jump back in. And it was like, cool, I'm going to run and do a bounty. Oh, you know what, though? Do I want to do the bounty right now, or do I want to go over here and just do the Zeni Hajiki, which is their Gwent? And I've never been a Gwent or a Machine Strike or any of the mini games they put in these things. I fucking love Zeni Hajiki. And it's like, it's just this coin knocking game. It's super simple and easy, and you gamble and you have a great time. And it's like, I did that and I was like, all right, cool. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to go do the bounty no matter what. I run off and I do the bounty. And they're like, all right, now I got to go to fucking bed. I'm like, well, I got new maps to put on. And it's like,
is this a touchpad game, by the way?
No, this is
trigger.
Oh,
trigger.
it looks
the
like
adaptive trigger.
Gotcha.
It does look like it would be a touchpad thing. But again, I'm doing this all after rolling credits. And this is going to be a game that not only lives on my PlayStation for a while, I totally see it being of, you know what, let's go knock out a camp. Let's go do a bounty. Let's go learn a new song. Let's go after this thing. Let's go after this technique. Like, again, that's what I'm talking about when I say this is an amazing video game experience where I think, yeah, if you played Ghost, you know what you're getting here mechanically, and there's bells and whistles and, things they've addressed, but Ghost of Yotei is amazing, and I can't wait to play more, even though I've played so much.
Hell yeah. Those are very, very good marks. I'm super pumped up, especially about Roger's score, because I never, Roger, he's a wild card.
Never know, bro.
I'd call him the wild card.
I call him the wild card here.
Never know where he's going to go with it.
100%.
Remember to get all y'all super chats in for questions about the game. I see a lot. I think the main thing I've been seeing across both chats right now is Assassin's Creed. That's like the #1 mention. did any of y'all play Shadows? How would y'all compare it to the Shadows?
I played Shadows. Barrett, how long did I play with Shadows? You're my Shadows. Did I play 20 or 10 or whatever it was for review?
I can't keep track of what you're
Barrett,
doing.
this is your one job. I played Shadows and talked about it in the review, and I forget how many hours I put in. I put enough into where I wasn't vibing with it and walked away from it. This is back to, I think, Blessing's noted criticism. And I'd also, just for the record, round of applause to all the games criticism that's out there about this game right now. We went through the reviews, which are great, and I love reading Midler's 9 out of 10 in this, but then, I forgot. There was one that got shared that was like very cutting of like, not calling it slop, but it's gruel or something, but it's enjoyable gruel. And I was like, damn, like, I don't agree with your conclusions, but I see the evidence you're putting out there, and I like this.
Yeah, I think there's something about games like this, right, that I think inspire really, really good conversation to the slop thing, right? I was thinking about this last week. I forget what the conversation was, but I was thinking about friction as a thing and how friction works. I think I was talking to you actually about
B-hole.
G-spot, you know what I mean? We were talking about friction and how like certain games. I think we were talking about Hollow Knight Silk Song about how much that game has friction, but how that's additive to the experience. And I mentioned that like I'm playing a game that is frictionless right now, and that works for what it is, right? And I was talking about Ghost of Yotei, and I think this feeds into the PlayStation first party of it, and then also, like, I think structurally what it is as an open world games and what open world games have evolved into and what they're doing in a varied way, where you have Elden Ring, that is this, all right, explorative, tough as nails, doesn't hold your hand, right? But it is very much like, hey, I'm going to uncover this world slowly at a time. You have a game like Spider-Man that we also view as like a checklist thing, but it's fast, rapid, and you're going through doing all these things. Ghost of Yotei leans way more on the Spider-Man side, which, I think when we think about the criticism and what people have to say about it, I think there's a conversation as far as what PlayStation does with open world, which I don't think is inherently bad. I think what it is, hey, how do we make a game that is a smooth time for our players?
And to bring it to Assassin's Creed, but also piggyback off of that. I think you're 100% right on that, but I think what maybe, and I'm probably using way too much hyperbole here, but maybe what Ghost of Yotei does better than any other game of its ilk is give you the toolbox to say, how do you want to enjoy this game? And I think whatever direction you'd pick for your preferences, you will have that amazing time. Whether it is, I just want a golden path it, I'm just going after the Yotei 6. Whether it is I'm Greg Miller and shiny thing, and I'm running to that. Or if it is, because like, once you've uncovered anything on your map, you can fast travel to it. So like right there, what a nice thing, right? But if you are this game's gorgeous and I want to slow down and take my time with it and ride everywhere.
I want to be distracted by something.
You can ride it and enjoy it and find those like just encampments that'll pop up or people passing through and da-da-da-da.
But yeah.
Can I just get to the Assassin's Creed thing? So then to Assassin's Creed Shadows, like Yotei succeeds, I think, again, of this is not a role-playing game, but giving you the tools, in my eyes, to role-play as the character of Atsu and really get into it. When I was talking about Assassin's Creed Shadows, and I like Naue, but I didn't connect with her. What's the other guy's name? I forgot. Yasuke?
Yasuke.
Like it was a good setup, but then they didn't do enough with it early on to get me going. Like all these different things. This game, as we've already said, starts and you start. You are in it. This is not Ghost of Tsushima where it was like, cool, let's get Jin as a guy who's on the beach fight. No, it's like you are thrust into Atsu's story and you go right from the traumatic events of her past to here we are. I'm gonna fucking kill the Yotei 6. And I think that is such a great boom jump. Let's go. You're into the action, and then it is that idea of, okay, cool. Erika Ishii, the English performer here, who of course we know, we did an interview with and I've known for years, right? Fucking kills this role. Like she is so fucking good in this game. And I think it was funny to listen to our Ghost of Tsushima review where Blessing in particular was like, I just don't connect with Jin. Like he's just not my guy. And we kept talking about the people who surround Jin. And I think when I think of Tsushima years later, that's what I think of as well. Of like, yeah, Jin and his battle with his uncle, and is he a ninja, is he a samurai, what are we doing with kind of thing, and honor and disgrace. But it was Lady Mosca. It was all these different people that were surrounding him and making him, really bolstering that story. Where I think Atsu is so good and so well performed and so likable and easy for me to connect with, at least. It then becomes this idea of, all right, I'm in this world, I love the character, and then to Blessing's point, they're giving you the cards that are like your quest log, but it feels tactile. It feels personal as I cycle through and what do I want to do right now? As I joked earlier, like you're people will tell you, oh yeah, there's a bathhouse over there, or you'll buy a map from somebody. That's then when you go to your map, you have to hit square. You get the little piece of map they drew, and you have to try to figure out in your map where it is. So you're building out your map. You're doing all these different things in a way that not only then it becomes, well, do I want to go after the fox dinner? Or I want to go to this thing. It becomes, I've earned this and I've made this, and I got, like, for me, I was so adamant about my armor in this one. Not like in Tsushima, that's a big part, obviously.
From a visual standpoint?
From a narrative standpoint, where for me it was, okay, like I'm going through and you have the loadouts, and so this is better for dueling and this is better for that. But for me, it was like Atsu is so dead to Ezo when she starts, right? She's already a ghost. Her family has been killed. She is just out for revenge. Her first like monologue is like, once they're dead, I can die. So I was like, put the mask on, dark clothes. I'm going to be the shinobi. I'm going to be the ninja. I'm going to attack it that way, right? And then, but I always wore the hat I started with. I was like, this hat has like been with me the journey. But so then when it was like something happened narratively where I was like, oh, I can open up a bit and do this and put then they close off. I'm going back. Like I was doing that level of me RPGing with it. That doesn't work for everybody, I'm sure.
See, I wish I had that level. I think that's one of my knocks with it, is that this game felt so much like a video game. Like I felt like I saw the Matrix the entire time as I'm playing this game, and it feels like, in the way that I was comparing Spider-Man and Elden Ring and all that stuff, right? One of the games I was thinking about as I was playing this was Red Dead Redemption 2, a game that's like not my favorite game necessarily, but a game that I really appreciate for how much it leans into
artwork. It's art.
It is art. You are a cowboy. This is the cowboy fantasy, right? You're riding on your horse, you're brushing your horse, or hanging out with your camp of people. You're doing cowboy shit, and like, it is the cowboy fantasy, sometimes to a gameplay detriment, but it really does immerse you in all of the aspects of being in that world.
Yeah.
Here, I felt like I was more exploring the open world map for me felt like I was looking at a menu of things to do, right? It felt like, okay, I know I got a wolf thing over here. All right, cool. I'm going to do the hot springs over here. All right, let me check off a camp over here. Like, it never felt like the natural feeling of I am really Atsu in this world.
Yeah, and I think that's the different type of gamer conversation that we're getting into, right? Where for me, it felt the same way, right? Like, I'm definitely looking at the hot spring. I'm definitely looking at the wolf den. I'm definitely looking at the bamboo strike. But it was me never understanding, or never knowing, rather, where this story or this moment was going to take me, right? It's the little things where I go to the hot spring, and then one time I randomly go to a hot spring, and there's a bunch of naked guys running away, and they're scared, and they're like, oh shit, why are you here? It's one time one time where I travel to a shrine. I'm ambushed. There's a tutorial for a brand new feature. There's an interrogation about the Yotei 6, and then a branching choice of which member to pursue. It's like all these things happen with just me pursuing a random event that I thought was just a side quest. And this happens constantly, even with the bamboo stuff, right? Where it's like you go to a bamboo thing, you slice it, sometimes that slice goes up in the air, and that's kind of randomized. Or sometimes last night, I think it was, I went to a bamboo strike, I sliced it, I'm like, hell yeah, I did it. Turned around, a quest just got given to me randomly. And it's like, you never know what you're going to expect.
Just before the show, I was fucking around and I ran into one where it was like, before you do it, you have to do this. And I was like, oh, then changed it up. And then there's the other one too of like, something was happening at the bamboo strike every time I tried to do it. I'm like, oh, what is going on with that? Like, they've taken all the stuff that, again, from the last game, but I think put enough tweaks on it for me personally where it was. And again, back to what I was talking about earlier of like the detriment of beating it in 40 hours or whatever, right? Is like, as you go through and you learn these new techniques and you're putting them into stuff, like I built out my katana right away. If you listened like I just did to the Ghost of Tsushima review, you'll hear it in the same way here of like, I was upset to a degree in the first game with stances at announcement where I'm like, I just want to use my sword and be cool. Can I just use that? And then I was like, in that game, I was like, oh, but then how dynamic the stances are worked for me. Here, of course, you have your katana, you have a big pole, spear. You got the thing with the hook you throw around. I can never remember its name, etc. You have all these main weapons that.
Kusarigama.
There you go. Nailed it. As you get into it, right, then these things and your dual blades, they all come down to what enemy you're fighting and how you have to do that, right? And I was like, okay, fine. And you can plow through with the katana for the most part, which I tried to do, and then I would do it to break shields or whatever I need to, then go back. When I would get to boss fights, that's when the combat would challenge me, and it would challenge me, I feel, because I hadn't invested in the techniques that would help me, like, oh, well, now you can do 3 combo hits with the pole or whatever, blah, blah. And so now as I'm playing through and unlocking more of those, it really is of like, oh, I should have been doing all of this, not just for, and I wasn't either when I was playing, but the thought shouldn't be I'm doing this for the checklist game of it. I should be doing this because Atsu's one mission in life is to kill the Yotei 6. And so I should be able to walk in and clown these motherfuckers out because this is all I've ever wanted. And it makes it interesting, and again, I think makes it personal where, with Jin in the first game, I didn't always feel powerful, but I felt in control of the situation. And one of the conversations we had with that first game was honor, dishonor. Even though I love being the shinobi, I love being the ninja and hiding in the grass and assassinating people, Jin always carried guilt for doing that. So I tried to play that game not doing that. Whereas with Atsu, she is a shinobi, she is a ninja. She's just here to kill people. And I think, we play into a lot of stuff, and I've seen there's the negative takes on this in the internet. Stick with me of, well, how could a woman be able to go do all this, blah, 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 right? There's a narrative, at least for how I play this game and what I'm doing, where every trick I have at my disposal, I use, and I don't feel guilty for it. I feel like literally what I feel like, even though she's way more athletic than me, I would be in the situation of like, I just got to kill these fucking guys. So I'm throwing sand in your face and I'm throwing a blade at you. I'm shooting a blade. I don't care about you're only using your katana. Fuck you. Just die.
Right.
I feel like there's that like rabid, I just have to fucking kill you thing that Atsu has that works so well then for the bevy of tools and gizmos you're given here, from bombs to stabbies to whatever the hell it's
I love that. And I can't wait to hop deeper into gameplay and hear what Roger and Blessy think about gameplay and the weapons and all that fun stuff. I do want to quickly thank Joker J for 74 months of Prime subscription.
Hey,
thank you for your subscription.
Did you know that if you have Amazon Prime, you have Twitch Prime? That was beautiful harmonization on your part.
Harmonization. That's the word.
I'm glad that you got that.
That is the word.
Chat, while you watch these ads that are coming up, let me know. Andy asked this question on his stream last night. Who do you think's more athletic, Greg Miller or Roger Pickard?
Yeah, let us know that as well. And there's also
the answer.
I also have a super chat that I am vetoing, but thank you for the super chat, Gondor's Condor, who says, how much does Yotei reference Tsushima at all? We will not be talking about any of that. But thank you for the super chat, and we will get to more super chats after a word from our sponsors.
This episode is brought to you by Shady Rays. You know that moment, the one when you realize you left your favorite sunglasses at the beach or on the roof of your car or in that gas station miles away. We've all been there. Nick Scarpino once left a pair of sunglasses in Vegas, and I've never heard the end of it. It wasn't my fault, but now there's Shady Rays. They've changed the game. These sunglasses are made for real life. Seriously good looking, polarized, durable, and not stupidly expensive. And here's the wild part. If you lose or break them, even on day one, Shady Rays will send you a brand new pair. No guilt trip, no replacements. So now Nick can wear his sunglasses without fear on urban hikes, at comedy shows, at the old folks' home, wherever. Shady Rays is eyewear that has your back. We've teamed up with Shady Rays to bring you an exclusive offer. Head to shadyrays.com and use the code FUNNY for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. That's shadyrays.com, code FUNNY for 35% off polarized sunglasses. This episode is brought to you by Factor. Fall always feels like a reset. Between back to school, busier routines, and shorter days, finding time to cook can be tough. That's why I love Factor. Their chef prep, dietitian approved meals make it easy to stay on track and enjoy something comforting and delicious no matter how hectic the season gets. Factor removes the work and gives me a delicious, healthy meal in mere minutes. You can choose from a wider selection of weekly meal options, and for the first time ever, try Asian-inspired meals with bold flavors influenced by China, Thailand, and more. Eat smart at factormeals.com/kindafunny50 off and use the code kindafunny50 off to get 50% off your first box plus free breakfast for 1 year. That again is code kindafunny50 off at factormeals.com for 50% off your first box plus free breakfast for 1 year. Get delicious, ready-to-eat meals delivered with Factor. Offer only valid for new Factor customers with the code and qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchase.
Let's get to some super chats, everybody. Get in your super chats. Write in all of your questions, comments, and concerns. I have a super chat here from Norman with a $5 super chat. Thank you for the support. Says, no spoilers, but how are the bad guys? The setup for the story makes it seem like the Yotei 6 are a varied and charismatic cast of villains.
Yeah, absolutely. I was very surprised by the twists and turns that they took with the Yotei 6. I thought it was going to be pretty straightforward until potentially the last one. And no, there's just constantly, you're learning the different dynamics, you're learning how these people work, and you get way deeper into like the lore of each of them than I expected, or at least some of them.
I think the first half are really well done. The next two underbake comparatively,
Sure.
and then the final one's great.
Can you not do them in whatever order you want?
No, that's the conversation to have.
Yeah, that was one of the issues I had with it, is that it felt like you could. Like, I think the card system, I don't know what happened, like, in development of, like, if this is a conversation as far as doing whatever you want, but it felt like that was presented as a thing.
Gotcha.
But no, you cannot do them in
There's
any
some
order.
freedom in the beginning, where in the beginning you have a couple choices, but then at least one of them dead ends until you advance the plot.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so like me and Bless did one or two of the bosses in different orders, but then after that, it kind of just funnels you towards the end.
Yeah. And I agree with Greg. I think the first half of them are great, and then you run into some that feel like, okay, well, this went quick, and then
I was just not to push back on that. I completely agree, but also there's a lot of things happening without getting into spoilers around the characters.
So
So
that's
like,
a great point.
they're all not created equally, and I think that's very much on purpose. Is because you focus in on a few of them, you understand their motives and their motivations. The other ones, they're on purpose to be like, hey, you just kill them, we just move on, because there's a lot of shit going on around it.
A nice little super chat from Volk Dasher complimenting Roger. Says that you spoke beautifully with the top level review. And here's a Roger tax for being a great human.
Aw, you love
Wow,
Roger.
look at that.
Great
Shout out
time
to
to
Jasic with a $10 super chat. Says birthday tax. Happy birthday, Jasic.
Happy
birthday. And more importantly, happy Hades Day. We're excited for
Hades Day.
Very, very excited for Hades 2. Our review for Hades 2 was yesterday. Go check that out. We have a super chat here from Nimble Trent with a $5 super chat, who says, is it a similar space as Ragnarok and Forbidden West? Both felt like more of their parentheses incredible predecessors, but didn't add anything super exciting.
Interesting.
I like that question. My initial reaction coming hot off of playing it right now is that I think it might be the inverse. I feel like God of War to Ragnarok, right? Like God of War 2018 was so unexpected and great, and then Ragnarok was more of that. And granted, unexpected in some ways, and yeah, but I feel like it was I don't feel like the change was as large in quality, I guess, if I'm making sense there. I loved Tsushima. Tsushima, we didn't use the review scale back then, but it would have been somewhere in the 8s for me, an 8 flat, maybe an 8.5 at the time. Now I would think an 8. Whereas I think for me personally, they stepped it up in character, they stepped it up in pace, they stepped it up in not... It's funny, Bless, for you to talk about, or maybe it was you, I apologize, but this is a video game world, and you it was you. You see the Matrix and you stuff, right? That was a criticism I had of not only Tsushima, and I think you did too back then, but like I had brought in my Second Son comparison, where Second Son looked like hey, this is a next-gen brand new game, but it still had like the big, here's the icon for the photo, come take the photo here. And it's like, oh, you're pulling me out of it. Again, this one puts you into it, I think, at least for me, in such a great way, even with the map now, 40 hours in, I thought it would be a touchscreen, of where you can look through and see where you've been and what you've done and what you've exposed. Like, I feel like when I think of the Ghost franchise, Atsu's performance, character development, the way this story goes, this will be the one I think of more fondly than number one. As great as number one was, and I'm not trying to take anything away from Tsushima, this is the one where I'm like, oh, I think I'm going to like this one longer in the end.
Yeah, I mean, I never played the Horizon games, but I can say for me, at least personally, God of War Ragnarok is like a huge step up from God of War. Just me personally, I think that game's like a masterpiece. So I wouldn't say it's like that level, but it's like really close. Like I think it's more comparative to Ragnarok in terms of a jump than I think a Spider-Man to Spider-Man 2, if that makes sense. Spider-Man 2 feel a little bit more iterative. This actually feels iterative, but like all the small things add up for me in a way that feels really special.
I always compared Spider-Man and I always thought they were very similar in that if you were, it's kind of going back to our Hades discussion yesterday, Bless, talking about Breath of the Wild to Tears of the Kingdom, where if you were to recommend somebody their first experience, I think that those sequels, like if you're just zooming out and looking at the macro, as a video game, they are better because mechanically they add more diversity and variety to what you can do with weapon sets and armor and all that stuff. But there's just something so special about that 2018 God of War game that was so, because you experienced it at that time, I was like, wow, this is the first time I'm kind of experiencing this.
sure.
Yeah.
Bless, how do you feel about the Tsushima to Yotei sort of
Yeah,
comparison?
I mean, I think out of all of the games that we mentioned, for me, Tsushima to Yotei feels the most iterative, but I don't mean that in a bad way, right? Like, when Tsushima came out, I fucking love Tsushima, but I think I still would have given it an 8 out of 10 at the time. Like, if I have to, having not gone back to listen to the conversation, right? I feel like a lot of the same ways I feel about Yotei probably are consistent with the ways that I felt about Tsushima.
I would say so.
And I think a lot of that is like, I don't think this game is a big overhaul of what they did for Tsushima, right? I don't think the changes they did here were that big. I think they are good changes though, right? Like the small things they did structurally. One of the things that I really like here compared to Tsushima is when you play Tsushima, the way that you're unlocking the map feels a bit linear as far as you're just working your way north, right? And so you unlock those 3 chunks one at a time. Here, I do think that like, you know, the way they start you off and the way that like they kind of give you that bit of choice as far as how to tackle things makes opening up the map feel a bit more natural. And so I do think that like overall, I think Yotei is better, but I'm not looking at it as like a ground up, this innovated, this like changed the game by any means. For me, I'm like, this is giving me more of a game that I really, really enjoyed.
Let's talk weapons. Greg kind of mentioned some of the stuff that he loves sticking with. Do you want to expand a bit more on that, Greg?
No.
No?
Oh, wow.
No,
How about yourself? Okay.
I let them talk though. I've said too much.
Yeah, it's as the same thing as Tsushima. You don't get all the weapons throughout the main story. You can go out and you can basically finish the game with only a few of the weapons. I ended up getting all the weapons before I finished, or most of the weapons before I finished the main story. I actually ended up mostly using the big Odachi,
sure.
like the big super heavy one that they've added in this one.
I love that progression, by the way, just to kind of pop in here, because when you had mentioned this to me, I assumed it would have been the way Metroidvanias introduced progression. Maybe not Silksong necessarily, but you know, you play something like Prince of Persia, which is a lot more hand-holdy, and it's like, now it's time for the double jump, now it's time for this and that.
Yeah.
I assumed that now you get the Odachi, now you get the Kusarigama or Kurisarigama.
Yeah, they
or
do
whatever.
that. They do that for a few of them.
Okay.
But then there's the last few where like, hey, there's certain enemies that you can kill if you just work really hard, but these ones are going to poke through their armor a little faster.
There was a boss fight I was doing where I wasn't getting my ass kicked by anything, but it was more like, oh, I fucking missed it. They had said before that the rock, paper, scissors game, that this weapon happened when this happened when that. And so I texted a friend and I was just like, hey, I'm at this part. I must have missed it. What's the weapon? And he's like, oh, it's this weapon. I'm like, oh, I don't even have that weapon. And I was able to get through the fight and beat the fight, but it was like, oh, interesting that it's like that, not intense, but Metroidvania / discoverability, like, you know, to get there later and be like, oh, this would have helped me a lot in X, Y, and fight. And it's the same thing I'm talking about now of like, you know, you go to these altars or clear camps to get to the altars, you bow to it, you get a technique point that you can then go put into like 3 or 4 different categories, right? But it's the idea of like, oh, that's how you upgrade the abilities you can on these weapons. And I've been unlocking stuff now post-game where I'm like, this really would have helped me. I wish I would have had this when I was in this fight. Like, Atsu, back to it of like, I really should have had the mindset if in a perfect world to be able to play it for 2 months of getting everything and then being like, now I'm going to kill everybody.
Before we get to Bless real quick on his favorite weapons, is there an ability for like life leech? I love a good life leech. Yeah, like on a perfect parry, you get some health back on something.
Well, I mean, you get like the little thing that you can use for health, right? The little circles. What are those called? The
Spirit Orb?
Oh,
Spirit
right.
Orb,
But like,
right?
but there's nothing like, you know, here's you do the
Yeah, and then
critical
you get
attack
it
and you
now.
get health
No,
back.
not that
Damn,
I remember.
Fucking.
No play. No
I'm
play for
moving
me,
on to
Andy.
something else
It's
then.
done, yeah.
Bless, what are your favorite weapons to use?
Yeah, it's an interesting question because I never felt like the game really, you know, incentivized having a favorite weapon. It's similar to the stance system, right? Where it is the rock, paper, scissors thing. And so the more you're able to switch back and forth between your different weapons, you know, that is the strat of the game. That said, the Kusarigama, for, you know, what it's good against, and then also for how it can be used for crowd control a bit, I did like for that. I think that's a good one.
And I like the augmentations you can do to it, right? Like, I believe it was in the first game, right? But applying fire to your sword or whatever on your katana or whatever, that always feels so great when I'm like, you know what? I've had enough of your fucking shit. Now I'm going to fuck your life up and go from it. And to jump in, another one of the things we haven't talked about, but I'd like to touch on, right? In terms of both the fire and then for me personally feeling like, oh, like I'm living in this world in a different way than in other games. you can camp when you're by your horse, right? So you call your horse in, then you can camp. That refills your spirit. It'll refill your life. You can cook to get augments, to your melee or whatever like that. You can go craft your ammo to.
Sometimes people will come.
Exactly, yeah. But
Excuse me?
you can you can
It gets crazy.
You can craft make more of your throwing knives or your bullets or whatever you need or whatever. You can play music to get buffs or whatever. And then other people will show up and you can buy maps from them, buy other stuff from them. Just talk to them, they'll tell you things or whatever. Like it was an interesting one of I was deep into the game. When it was finally like, I'm a fucking moron. After every fight, I need to camp. Like I wasn't doing it. I was just running to the next thing, coming in with like an orb and a half. When I started doing this again, it was like, oh, I'm preparing. And again, more importantly, slowing down. Like I think it's a game that if you slow down and take it all in a more meaningful way, it pays off even more for you.
Let's talk about some quick features like accessibility.
Sure.
I love being able to, get into the nitty gritty of options, and I just love when devs give you that, that sort of menu of stuff. Were there any things that you were moving towards when it comes to like, for example, I love when in Souls games, which is weird because Souls games do not really give you very many options at all, but I love a minimal HUD. When I'm not fighting, everything goes away. I just sort of live and breathe in that moment. Then once the combat starts, then you see your stamina and your health bar. What sort of cool things were you all messing with in the menus?
Well, again, the visual modes return, right? This is something we've talked about.
All right, PS5
mode.
Pro, how are we looking?
Oh, gorgeous. On
We have a PS5 Pro like mode?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he had it's performance and ray tracing. It ran amazing.
Literally, I jumped in, I'm playing, Roger's like, oh, tweak them on. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I wasn't playing on the performance
Yeah, he was
mode.
on quality mode of the main thing.
okay.
And the game runs amazing on PS5. Regular, amazing,
base.
gorgeous.
Yeah, I got base PS5 and it runs great. And I don't know what's going on. I feel like my base setting got switched somewhere along the line because it started off in quality mode.
Yeah, something's wrong with the PlayStation thing where it just automatic. Like you have the PS5 main settings where you can say, oh, if every game that I have starts off on performance mode, it just doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, I don't know what's
so
been happening. But yeah, I played the first, let's say, 10 hours in quality mode.
You didn't notice?
No, because the game looks so beautiful that I think I was just lost in it. And
That's good.
I didn't notice, and then I switched it. And I was like, oh shit,
I was prepared,
this is smooth,
especially for going from the Pro on our giant TVs, and the quality, whatever. And then I went on the road to New York, right, for that Fallout 76 thing. I brought in my PlayStation 5 Slim, put it up on a hotel TV, and I was prepared for it to be ugly, and it still looked awesome.
Nice.
Granted, I got dumb eyes, so I don't know anything.
Right.
But before we get too far away, I wasn't talking about the quality, whatever modes on this. I was talking about the Kurosawa mode, put it black and white. What is it? The Miike? Mode where it's more blood, more.
Yeah, that was a little disappointing. I played a lot of that game in that mode. It's just it's more blood and says more mud, but it doesn't really. I mean, the blood there's a lot more of, but it doesn't.
There's
feel
a lot more mud too. You're just walking. Just
Sure, but it doesn't feel super distinct. Right? It just kind of feels like a lot of visual noise. I mean,
And then
I like the blood though. So I've
Okay.
got the,
Watanabe mode, which is the one with the lo-fi beats. And stuff. I turned it on for a second. I was like, oh, this isn't my game.
yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, I did the same exact thing where I cycled through all of them. I was like, ah.
So, but to turn it around and get back onto the accessibility as you were talking about, there are options here. I find them lacking, especially for a Sony first-party game, especially and I'm comparing it to The Last of Us, which has just got an insane suite. Again, this is where it gets hinky, where I'm hoping Steve Saylor will have an accessibility review up on that front. I'm talking more of what you're able to go in here and tweak and do and not do, right? For me, I am not Perry Poppy. We've talked about this a lot. And so early on, I was frustrated with some of the things of there's still the big shiny, when it does parry here, but parry at the last second. And I was having so much trouble getting perfect poppy or perfect parries that I went into accessibility. I'm like, is there a way to just increase the window? Can I just do that? And there isn't. There is difficulty, which then change, but it's difficult. I'm not
Change everything across the board at that point.
I'm not looking for them to die with me breathing on them. I'm just asking if I can get a little bit here. I couldn't. I beat the game no problem. I was never whatever. But you go through and it's there's a lot of that in here. To your point, there is I didn't fuck with it, but there's a HUD style, either standard or expert. Expert will take a lot of it off there and do that for you. You know what I mean? You can go in and do that, turn off stun meters, do things, but it's not the minutia that I would like. And it's the same thing for a game that is so gorgeous, and I'm going a little bit different, but if you want to come back to accessibility, we can. It's the same thing with photo mode, where we've had so many really fleshed out, crazy photo modes that once again, photo mode returns here to Ghost. And once again, it's a gorgeous game and a great thing. I wanted more filters.
Really?
I wanted the grid. I like a good grid when I'm trying to line things up. It's got a bunch of stuff. You can do all the weather and do the particles and
The
do
time
this.
of day.
Yeah, but it was like, I think of Spider-Man, where you can control where the light source is.
I get what
You
you're
get
saying.
really into the minutia of what you're doing. It's here. It's not by any means bare bones. I just wanted more options, and you got your f-stops and things like that and depth of field. But even then, I'd like to be able to move the focus manually. I've seen so many.
Sure,
that
I get what you're saying. As
You
somebody,
give like a B- or a B.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
as somebody who just like
A B or a B plus probably.
Okay.
But yeah.
who goes into the photo modes just like casually to do it occasionally, I was very impressed for what they had here,
Yeah,
especially
see,
like
we'll see what Jack Quaid says. when
yeah,
he gets
that's
there.
the real review. But like the time of day and also like the fucking sword glint
Yeah,
and
sword glint
everything,
was
like
nice.
Cool.
Yeah,
you can
yeah.
go kind of crazy with that. But yeah, I understand what you're coming
More, yeah, and that's the thing is they have a
You
bunch
want more
of
control.
They have I want to customize more. They have a lot of great built-in. Hey, here's like right off the lot factory settings of like, oh yeah, glint on your sword, change Yatsu's face. Well, that always drives me crazy. Change the expression on their face, and you do it, and they barely move.
Yeah.
it's like, all right, let's make some exaggerated expressions here. You know,
Play
what I'm
Yakuza.
trying to go. I have played Yakuza.
The new one?
No. Anyways, though, like I said, I took 120 some photos or whatever. Had a great time. Go check out my Instagram. Go look at them. Go like me.
For
Follow me
Yotei?
on Instagram. Get me to 100. What?
For Yotei?
Yeah.
100
Oh, nice.
followers.
Yeah, I Tsushima. I found a folder like a month ago or so with like 100 pics from Tsushima. I forgot how obsessed I was with the photo mode in that game.
Yeah.
I did not have that with this game, and I don't think it's.
Oh man, I was having so much fun with it out there.
It's not the fault of Yotei. I think it's just the way I'm playing it this time around, right? Like it just didn't stand out to me as much of like, oh man, stop here, stop here, stop here. The game is still gorgeous, right? The game still has so many beautiful vistas and so much beautiful foliage and different environments, and the colors pop and do all that. And so like if you're a photo mode sicko, like you're still gonna have fun here. But I was surprised that I wasn't stopping in every moment taking pictures.
Do you feel like that's maybe like past you?
Maybe,
Like,
yeah.
Maybe the gimmick of it early on was something that you were like, holy shit! Like,
I think Tsushima was one of the first times where I was like, damn, like, man, this game is fucking beautiful. I have to like, capture all this shit and I think that was the past me of wanting to dive deep into those mechanics. I just don't have that dog in me.
yeah.
Hold on, Kebab says in the options menu, and parry is under difficulty. It's called timing windows.
Oh, okay. But I will say the difficulty is cool just because it doesn't restart. You can just change it to easy for really quick and then go to normal, and then it's
nice.
just dynamic. You don't have to
You're not
restart
having
a
to
checkpoint.
go check.
Yeah, so maybe there's a few times towards
Very,
the
very
end where I was like, okay, I'm not good enough.
As we are wrapping up our discussion here, I'd like to
I
read
see
a couple
no
more
timing
super chats.
windows. I have the difficulty across the board.
Accessibility, or is there?
Well, he said that's not what he said to go to, or they said to go to. Sorry, I'm in option menus, and parry is under difficulty. It's called.
We'll get to the
timing
bottom of
windows.
this.
I have a super chat here from Zeke Speak who says, Greg.
Yes.
Well, thank you for the $5 super chat. Zeke Speak says, Greg, I'll
you
bet
have to set it in custom. Where is it? Oh, is there a custom? Oh, why the fuck would you put custom all the way at the end? I was like, that's super hard. I wouldn't even go there.
That makes sense.
Interesting.
Greg,
yeah, I'm sorry. Just enemy aggression, timing windows, enemy damage, stealth, hero bonus perks. There you go.
Damn.
Okay.
Look at that.
Should have gone deeper. My apologies, everybody.
A PC gamer loves looking through options. Like, you got to get there. at
Fucking
that
Greg
point.
Miller,
Yeah.
best PlayStation on the thing, plugs it into a gorgeous TV and just starts going. Just whatever, I'm going.
Greg sitting in his chair. Make parries easier.
Crack another support.
The super chat from Zeke Speak says, Greg, I'll bet you $100 and a dozen artisan donuts that you won't bring Erica back on the show for a Yotei spoiler cast. You wouldn't dare.
Oh, I like. Okay, I see the reverse psychology. Yeah. If we want to do a spoiler cast for sure, I'd love to have Erica come through. We can talk about that. Try to get Nate Fox in here too.
Another super chat from Matt. Thank you for your
Would you
support.
want that chat? Would you want that eventually?
Who says, how is the platinum? Is it easier or more difficult?
I was looking through it. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of like iffy on if I'm gonna do it. There's some things where it's like do all the bounties and all that jazz, but I think it's definitely doable. It's not like crazy, but it's not like mega easy like Spider-Man 2 where you can do that. In an
Exactly.
afternoon.
Yeah. No. It's more of the Ghost of Tsushima trophy list, right? So it is a do everything kind of, and it was as I thought comprehensively as I was playing it, I was like, okay, I'm interested to see. And yeah, I went in, turned network off so I could see him locally. And I went in there and it was like, you're 10% thing. I'm like, oh my God. And so it's like, my heart would love to do that, but I don't know. It's going to be on my PlayStation 5, but yeah, I'm on to the next 3 redacted reviews we need to do. We'll like double back to whatever. I imagine I'm going to double back to Yotei to fuck around and do a camp and do this, but I don't know if I will do it over the next few years.
Few things that I want to call. For me personally, I didn't play with English voice acting. I played the entire thing in Japanese. I'm not usually that person. That's not like a anime. I'm
Wow.
like, yeah, subs versus
This
dub.
fucking
I'm
weeb.
usually a dub person. It's just when there's a video game that's about Japan and like Japanese culture, I tend to just be like, oh, it just feels a little off. But really great, amazing performances. They did a great job, just like they did in Tsushima. One negative I want to call out with the game that I think is like my biggest negative of the entire game. There's like one puzzle in this game, and it sucks. And we continue to go back to it, and like there is no variety in it. It is complete. It is like bizarre, honestly.
Oh wait,
This
we're
is-
talking about the?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. There is a puzzle in this game. I don't want to spoil it too much, but like basically what it is they just give you like this key that's like, hey, these are the symbols, and these are these are what these symbols mean. And that's kind of the only puzzle in this game, and they go back to it constantly, even in side quests. And it is so mind-numbingly easy. Like I'm literally half paying attention, just getting it all, going past it. It's like don't even have this. Or I think that's what you would do for the sequel, is to really make this and flesh this out a little bit more, because there's so many shrines, so many beautiful areas in this game that could have like
A lot more
interesting
puzzling, cool
puzzles.
stuff.
See, I think that's where, if you want to talk about this being a middle of the road, mainstream, whatever, like that's a great example of like, we heard you like puzzles, so we gave you this key that like
that's
once
it,
you
yeah.
memorize that this one means death,
But
you never touch
it.
it.
Almost feels like out of place though, for me at least, because like
Half-baked.
baked, and it's just like it is so like abundantly clear that this is half baked, and everything else in this game does not feel like that.
I
So
thought
that
you
is-
were gonna talk about the one where you spin stuff.
Oh,
I hate those fucking things.
spin stuff.
We'll talk about it later. I don't
Okay,
want to.
yeah.
I mean, I do have like not to be. I feel like I keep being a negative Nancy on this game, which I
you
don't
can be an
mean to.
Escarpino. It's fine.
But I think this game is overall great. But to echo what Roger's talking about, right? I think even outside of that, there were a few puzzle moments where I was kind of like, oh, really? This is what we're doing here? Where, you know, I walk up to a thing and I'm like looking for an altar or something to upgrade, and I run into a thing that's essentially like, hey, play music here. And I'm like, oh, really? That's like the solution to this puzzle? And even as right before coming here to record this, right, I'm doing like a different puzzle thing, and Atu just says what the solution is, and I'm like, why? Why are we still doing this? Like, I think that's for sure
frictionless.
something that
especially
can
with the
improve.
side quests. That's the moments where you can really push it.
We have a BS that's a blue sky.
Oh,
a
yes.
blessing. My review of Ghost of Yotei before our actual review on Gamescast is that we as a gaming society need to make it so the characters in the video game I'm playing don't tell me the solution to the puzzle I'm solving.
Didn't we have Atreus like lowering the bar?
Hey, Dad, what's that over there? Do you think that means this?
Yeah, just wait 15
Jiminy
to 20,
Jillikers.
wait till 20 minutes and me
Or
just banging my head against the
Just
wall
tell
and
me,
then tell me.
let me press R3.
Yes.
R3 to reveal hint.
Yes. So yeah,
What if I told you about PlayStation 5 game cards?
that barely work for for even first party games.
Super chat from Kenneth Fox, who says, as someone who also reviewed the game, I had no problem acting like a scumbag and throwing smoke in my enemy's
Oh,
face.
I loved it.
Or using my pistol for a quick hit.
Or the kunai, right? The,
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
throwing them in
yeah.
the face.
You got a lot
once
of-
you get the fire ones, oh
You
my
got a
gosh.
lot of fun little things
So
that go in there and tweet. I don't think I got the fire ones.
Yeah, it's one of the
Yeah,
perks. It's real
that's
good.
good. Okay.
You
Super
gotta
chat here from Guitar Hero Arrow. I don't know how spoilery this is. They're just asking about Mount Yotei as a location, and they're saying that they love the way that it was showcased in the Forza Horizon 6 trailer.
Yeah.
But they're asking, like, is it utilized more than just a mountain looming in the distance?
I think it's best to leave all that.
Yeah, we'll leave all that as a secret for you to find out. I have more importantly, the most important super chats today are from Trevor with a $2 super chat, and No Feats with a $2 super chat saying, "Congrats on finishing Silk Song, Andy."
Hey,
Wow,
congratulations.
about a 5
So
hour
proud of you.
5 hour journey last night on stream. Well, it was like 6.5, but 5 hours for the boss fight. Good time, you know. We conquered. What a video game.
If I bring in my Switch, will you tell me how lost I am and where I need to go?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
That might be a top 10. We'll see if it makes
Oh,
the
wow.
top 10.
Chat's calling out that in the Forza Horizon, it's Mount Fuji, not
Oh, okay.
Yotei.
Well, right into guitarhero.com/you're wrong.
Yeah. Super chat to cancel out the super
Yeah.
chat.
Just text him.
All right. Any final thoughts here on Ghost of Yotei? I was
Yeah.
going to say Tsushima.
Yeah, I just want to say, like, this conversation is great because I see everything that Blessing's saying. I see everything that Greg is saying, but, like, all I want to do is fucking play this game. Like, I am devouring it in a way that, as you were alluding to, of like, oh, it's like 11 p.m. I'm doing I have had so many 1 a.m. nights on school days, on work days, which is like, I never do that. I am not, still like Mike scrolling on TikTok. I go to sleep at 10 p.m. and I'm like doing my little Sudoku and it's like 2 a.m. and I'm like, I need to go to fucking bed right now. I am obsessed with this game. I'm in love with everything they're doing here, and I cannot wait to see what Sucker Punch does next.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's an amazing video game. I think if what we've said sounds good, definitely try it. And yeah, I would say take your time. I would pull the Persona 5 move of just like really get out there and enjoy it.
Oh yeah, I echo that, and also can't wait for Legends.
Oh,
Oh,
I'm excited 'cause
my
I never played Legends
goodness.
before.
Oh my god.
Let's squad up.
That's
Oh, I'm
super
down to squad
exciting.
up,
yeah.
That's very, very exciting. We also have the most final super chat right here from Jens, who asks, "Do you think Sony can stay relevant in this changing game industry by making banger exclusives like this?" I think they can. I think
they'll be okay.
if this game is continues to be a banger and sells well, I think they'll do just
And
fine.
it'll do great on PC 2 years from now.
Ooh, yeah,
Real
can't
good.
wait for that. Remember, everybody, this has been the Kind of Funny Gamescast.
How will I light the fires?
I was thinking about that the entire time. Is that the, like
I
the
can't
mouse,
wait just
the
to be
mouse
done with
wheel?
it.
Each and every weekday, we get together to talk about the biggest reviews, previews, and topics in video games live on YouTube, Twitch, and podcast services around the globe. And if you love what we do, please support us with a Kind of Funny membership on Patreon or YouTube to get all of our shows ad-free, watch us record them live, and get a daily exclusive show. You can catch today's Kind of Funny Games Daily on YouTube or podcast services. And know that until next time, it's been our pleasure to serve you. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other.
Bye.